Namo Buddhaya friends, welcome to Rational Revolution, where we explore history, philosophy, and culture through a critical lens. Today we delve into the fascinating story behind Deepdan Utsav, a festival celebrated by neo-Buddhists which challenge the common narrative around Diwali. Join us as we uncover the layers of myth, history, and cultural revival shaping this unique celebration. Deepdan Utsav is celebrated by new Buddhists on the day of Kartik Amavasya as per the Hindi calendar, while it is celebrated across India as Diwali or the Festival of Lights. Its history is contested, one torn between myth and appropriation. The practices surrounding the Festival of Lights might seem pan India, but there are multiple historical vantage points from which one can look at Diwali. Neo Buddhists claim this day marked the completion of 84,000 stupas by King Ashoka. According to Hindu myth, the day is celebrated to mark the victory of Rama and his return to Ayodhya. The festival is also connected with the agrarian society, marking the completion of Kharif season. The rise of globalization and the marketization of festivals have given new meanings to the festival altogether. It is important to note, though, that both Deepdan Utsav and Diwali reflect the historical differences that are marked by a series of contestation and appropriation. What is Deepdan Utsav? Deepdan Utsav is the acknowledgement by Neo-Dalit Buddhists of King Ashoka's effort to revive Buddhism in India. Buddhist history says that after the Mahaparinirvana of Buddha, his relics were distributed among 8 kingdoms: Ajatsatru of Magadha, Licchavis of Vaishali, Shakyas of Kapilvastu, Bulis of Alapkappa, Kolyas of Ramgram, Brahmins of Vedas, Mallas of Pava, Kushinagar. King Ashoka brought back these relics to Pataliputra. He further ordered the construction of biharas, chaityas, and hospitals in 64,000 different cities to ensure the spread of Buddhism. Dr. Balmik Prasad, in his work Deep Vansh, discussed Ashoka's effort particularly in Pataliputra and Vaishali, where he established a Buddha Mahavihar named Ashoka Ram. Rahul Sankrityayan discusses the construction of 84,000 sites of Buddhist chaityas, lamps, and giving dan or grain to Buddha bhikkhus. Dr. Vijay Kumar Trisharan has argued that Deepdan Utsav, which is now popular as Diwali, was actually a festival of Mool Nivasi who were Buddhists. He says Brahmanical forces appropriated the Diwali, thereby diminishing the Buddhist ideology. For instance, 64,000 Buddhist preachings were changed to 64,000 yonis, which was one of the many ways in which Deepdan Utsav was Brahmanized, which helped invent Diwali through myths that sought to counter the Buddhist legacy of King Ashoka. In recent time, the revival of Buddhism by Bahujan community through its cultural practices is a significant aspect of contesting and resisting Hindu myths with historical facts. The Bahujan community, which has accepted Buddhism, celebrates this day as Deepdan Utsav. They lay claim to authenticity of the festival as Buddhists through Buddha's last word, Attadipo Bhava, which means be thy on light. The lighting of deep is therefore ingrained within the Buddhist philosophical tradition. The everyday practices of contesting history, the revival of celebration of Deepdan Utsav is a consequence of the rise of anti-caste consciousness among Bahujan communities. The reworking of myths and rereading of history are important cultural practices to shed the coyness and indignity that had historically shrouded Bahujans. The work of Jyotiba Phule, such as Gulamgiri, have reflected upon the mythical practices from Hindu scriptural text to reclaim a dignified identity. Among Buddhists, Bahujan communities, the celebration of Deepdan Utsav is marked by equal fervor as Diwali. The practices including lighting up houses, listening to Buddhist verses, visiting viharas, donating to bhikkhus, etc. These practices are attempts by the Bahujans to revive the claimed historical glorification. The significance lies in the tracing the history of Buddha and Asoka, which is an anti-caste practice of thinking about a casteless society. The Buddhist philosophy is discussed within intellectual traditions. The work of Sankrityayan, Bhadant Kausalyayan, Vincent Smith, Gail Ombet, et al. Have been significant in discussing the revivalism of Buddhism through these cultural practices. Much of their work are part of popular narrative as well, which are circulated through booklets, social media, and everyday conversations. The revival of Buddhism, particularly after Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's conversion in 1956, has opened up the space for critically rethinking the contested history. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, in his work, The Trump of Brahmanism, says it has been commonly supposed that the culture of India has been one and the same of throughout history, that Brahmanism, Buddhism, Jainism are simply different phases, and that there has never been any fundamental antagonism between them. In the first place, it must be recognized that there has never been such as a common India culture, that historically there have been three fundamental antagonisms between them. In first place, it must be recognized that has never been such a common India culture, that historically there have been three Indias: Brahmanic India, Buddhist India, and Hindu India, each with its own culture. Even it is significant to note that cultural attributes like celebration of a festival are important reflections on the historical trajectories through which cultures have unfolded. For the Dalit Bahujan community, festivals are an important aspect of remembrance and rethinking history. The celebration of Deepdan Utsav roots itself in the Buddhist tradition of Asoka, something that has been shunned from mainstream historiography, which never acknowledged the contestation between myth and history. The celebration of cultural events are significant social parameters through which contested social history lays itself bare. So, friends, this was all about Deepdan Utsav. If you think you got some knowledge about Diwali or Deepdan Utsav, then please like, subscribe, and share this knowledge to others. Thank you for watching this exploration of Deepdan Utsav and its significance in Neo-Buddhist and Dalit Bahujan history. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to Rational Revolution for more deep dives into history and philosophy. Let's know your thoughts in comments below, and remember to stay curious and keep questioning. Namo Buddhaya.